Are you looking for that last puzzle piece for your custom front end of your F-150? Well, here at Morimoto, we have the perfect product for you, and it's the XBG Grille for your F-150. With the new grille, it provides high visibility paired with OEM style and easy installation. We'll get into that here in a minute. This bar is unbeatably bright, thanks to the true automotive grade optics and OSRAM LEDs. This is one of the brightest LED grilles for your F-150 out there. The grille is also color coordinated. The chrome trim is ready right out of the box, and for the black trim, it just needs to be painted or wrapped to match your F-150 before install. Now for the dual intensity DRL bars, they are available either in white or amber LEDs, ensuring a perfect match for all Morimoto headlights or even OE LED lights. And last but not least, these are completely designed, engineered, tested, and distributed by Morimoto here in the US of A. So these will be the tools required for the install. Pry tools of your choice or a flathead screwdriver, a ratchet, either mechanical or handheld, a 7mm, 8mm, and 10mm socket, 2 extensions just to help to get to those nuts just in case, a plastic pry tool, a Phillips head, needle nose pliers, cutters, and locking pliers. The XBG Grille is also a fully plug-and-play system, and it also includes a 5-year warranty. So enough of talking, let's get straight into the install. First things first, go ahead and pop the hood. Now go ahead and just start removing the 12 plastic clips that are on top of your grille. You'll be using a pry tool to remove those. So start by working your way from one side of the truck all the way to the other. We're gonna start with this one right here. So now keep in mind when taking these little plastic clips out, you're not going to be removing the node styles that are right beside it. Those will be staying in for right now. All right, now with all those 12 plastic pieces removed, you can go ahead and just lift up on this plastic trim and then just set it aside. Now working your way to either side of the truck, you're going to go ahead and remove these 2 7mm bolts inside your fender well. All right, now with those 2 bolts out, all you have to do is pry up on the side right here and go ahead and get that up and out so you can go ahead and remove this trim piece later on. Now just go ahead and do the exact same thing to the other side. Now go ahead and make your way back to the front of the truck. We're going to go ahead and be removing this upper trim piece of your bumper. So go ahead and just start on one side and pull the trim piece up and towards you. There'll be 6 clips that you'll have to take up and out. If you do have some trouble, you may use a pry tool or a pick to help release it from those. Now keep in mind this trim piece may fall once you do pull it up and out, so maybe grab a friend or someone just to help you out with this part. Now just go ahead and set that trim piece off to the side. Next, go ahead and use a 10mm socket, and you're going to be removing these 4 bolts on the top of your grille. Well, on the last vehicle, they had 10 mils, but on this one, it's 8mm. So we're just going to go ahead and remove those. Now with those 4 bolts removed, go ahead and disconnect the connector that's connected to the grille. Just pry up on the connector wire and just remove it just like so. You also have to remove this little piece right here with a pry tool. Now, if your truck has a front camera, first release the clamp holding the plastic hose, then disconnect the 2 electrical connectors. Now working your way down to the bottom of the headlight, go ahead and grab you an extension and a 10mm socket. Go ahead and locate this 1 10mm bolt right here, right beside the grille, and take that out. Now just go ahead and do the exact same thing to the other side. Now with using a pry tool, go ahead and make your way to the grille. You're going to be prying on the back side of your grille and releasing it from those locking clips on the back side of it. Once you do it to one side, make sure to do it to the other as well. Now with those pried off, you can go ahead and start removing the grille up and off the truck. Once it's removed, go ahead and gently set it aside. All right, now with the grill set aside, we're gonna go ahead and uninstall your headlights. It doesn't matter if you have the Morimoto XB or the OEM headlights, they come out the exact same way. So first things first, go ahead and take a 8mm and remove this one bolt right here. All right, now with that 8mm done, we're gonna go ahead and remove the 3 10mm bolts underneath the headlight. All right, now with those out, go ahead and do the exact same thing to the opposite side. So on each side of the headlights, there is an air vent. All you have to do is take a plastic pry tool and pry down up off the headlight. And do the exact same thing on the other side. So the best part of this is that you only have to uninstall one of your headlights, meaning the passenger headlight. So the last 2 bolts that is holding this headlight in place is 2 10mm bolts. So go ahead and remove those, and then we're gonna set this headlight aside. Now with those bolts removed, go ahead and gently remove your headlight, just tugging on it a tad bit towards you, and then it'll release from the clips just like so. Now just go ahead and disconnect the connectors. All right, now with the fuses exposed, we're gonna go ahead and show you how to install this. As you saw at the beginning, this owner actually had the Morimoto XB headlights installed, so he actually has the fuse tap harness already there. But if you don't, the fuse tap harness will look just like this. You have the fuse tap on one side and the connector on the other end. So all you have to do is take a pair of needle nose pliers and locate fuse number 36. As you see, we already have one installed. So just go ahead and take those needle nose and you're just gonna pull up on that fuse. Keep in mind if it's the OEM fuse, just set that one aside. And then just take your fuse tap and put it in place of that fuse. So running down from your fuse box all the way to your passenger headlight, you're gonna pull that connector harness at the very end, and we're gonna be connecting this here soon. So now with that ran over to the passenger headlight, don't forget to go ahead and put the lid back on your fuse box. All right, next step, we're gonna be moving on to the main harness. Now, if you have OEM halogen headlights, you'll be using the smaller connector, and if you have OEM LED, you'll be using the bigger connector with multi-pins in it. So all you have to do is locate that OEM harness and just connect it into it just like so. And then these other ones you'll be routing up to the XBG grill, and then just connect that DRL harness that you installed earlier. The rest of the wiring will be running out to your XB grill, and we'll be doing that install once we get the grill onto the truck. All right, so now before we move on to the new XBG grill, we're gonna go ahead and take off some of the components on your OEM grill. There's gonna be 5 plastic tabs on the very front of your grill, so we're gonna go ahead and start off by removing those. So go ahead and just grab a pry tool real quick, working from your left to right. Just pull these push tabs up and out, and then set these aside. Now with those out, just go ahead and take your grill and flip it over, allowing you to get to the very bottom of the grill now. As you can see, there's gonna be 8 plastic push tabs. You'll be removing these as well with that same pry tool. All right, now with all those plastic tabs removed, you're just gonna take the grill and set it back on its face very gently. All right, next up, we're gonna be removing 4 10mm bolts on the grill side. Just lift it up real quick and I'm gonna show you guys. There's one here, here, and then also 2 on this side as well. Keep in mind, they are the inner 10mm bolts, not the outer one. All right, just go ahead and set it back down and then start unscrewing it from your left to right. Now in some models, there is a 7mm bolt in the very center of your grill. Just remove that, but in our case, we don't have that, so we're just gonna move on. So next step, just go ahead, and there's 5 little lock tabs on the very base of this grill. Go ahead and just take a flathead, wedge tool or whatnot and push on each one of those individually, releasing it from the actual casing of your grill. Now keep in mind, you can use a pry tool for this, or you can just use your hands. All right, now with all those disconnected, it's time to go ahead and separate the grill from the very front of it. If you do have a camera or a washer system, this is the time you'll be disconnecting that from the front of the grill. Now keep in mind when pulling this up, do not pull it up by the fins because they are fragile. Pull it up by the core of the top and bottom of it and just set it aside. All right, now with that set aside, we're gonna go ahead and be transferring these 5 metal clips on your OEM grill onto the Morimoto grill. Go ahead and just use a pry tool or a flathead screwdriver, whatever your choice is. Just take to the base of it and then just pry up. All right, now it's time to go ahead and transfer the Ford Emblem over to your Morimoto grill. We're gonna be using only hand tools for this due to the fact you do not want to break anything or plastic. So these are 3 10mm bolts that you'll be removing. Now just lift up on your grill. Be careful too as well, guys, because this part is fragile as well. And you should just be able to push on the back side of the grill and lift it up and out, just like so. But before setting this fully aside, there is a couple hardware on this that we're needing to be removing and transferring over to the XP grill as well. Now, if you do have a camera option on your F150, go ahead and remove that as well from the grill and set that aside also. In our case, we do not have that option, so we're just gonna go ahead and skip that step. Now moving on, there is 4 pieces of hardware on here that we're gonna be removing off of this and transferring over to the XPG grill. Now, one key note, some of the grills are different on your F150. Refer over to our install guide to see some of the different options when taking this hardware off. So now go ahead and just pull these 4 up and out. Now with those 4 tabs up and out, you can go ahead and set this grill aside because you ain't gonna need it no more. All right, now with your OEM grill set aside, we have the new Morimoto XPG grill. I'm super excited about this too as well, guys. Remember, it does come in 2 color variants. You could either get the black option just like this. This allows you to customize your grill to whatever color you want. Now remember, the black is actually just unpainted plastic. You need to paint it, even if it's just painting it black again. So it's literally up to you guys on what you want to do on customizing the front end of your F150. So if you do want to customize this grill, there are a couple more steps involved, but you can refer over to the install manual if you want to do that. Now, if you do have the camera, there are a few steps involved with that also. Just head over to the install guide as well, and we'll show you guys how to do that for the grill also. But since we don't have that option, what we're gonna do is take the same hardware that we took off your OEM grill and install it onto your new XPG grill. So we're gonna take those 4 studs and just put them back into place at the same position as your OEM grill. Next, go ahead and take those 5 metal clips as well and line them up to the back side of the tabs. All you have to do is line them up and then just push them down. Last but not least, you just have to install your Ford Emblem and the Morimoto bezel that comes with the kit. Just flip your front grill up and over. And we're just gonna place that Morimoto bezel into those grooves, just like so. You'll hear a slight clip and you know that it's secured. Now just take your OEM Ford emblem and place it in just like so again, and then flip it back up and over. Make sure to be careful so it doesn't slide out. And then just use those 10mm OEM nuts and screw them back down. Also, guys, do not over tighten these as well because you can strip this out and also damage the plastic on it. We are almost done, guys, with this install. Go ahead and just grab your active flaps from your OEM grill, and we're gonna place it right here, and using those 4 nuts, we're gonna just go ahead and bolt those back down. Now when reinstalling this, make sure that you line it up to those 5 black tabs that are on the very bottom of the grill. You'll hear them lock into place just like so. Also, guys, keep in mind that your XPG grill, make sure that it's exposed, so whenever you do start to do the install, you can connect it with ease as well. Now just go ahead and take those 4 nuts and tighten them back down. All right, guys, and don't forget to go ahead and reinstall those plastic push tabs as well. Remember, there's gonna be the 5 on the very top. Just line them back up to the holes and just push them down. And last but not least, guys, we're going to install the plastic tab that goes on the very bottom of the grill. Just use those 12 push tabs and get them back on, and you're good to go, guys. All right, now before we install this, we have to install the passenger headlight. Now just go ahead and bring the headlight back to the truck and go ahead and get it plugged in. Now, if the Morimoto XP is just like this vehicle, you'll be taking off the dummy plug off the harness and plugging in the DRL harness. The LED strip lights built into the grille are controlled by an included wire harness. This adapter harness acts like a splitter between the wiring coming from the truck and the headlight. Just simply install the harness in the line with the headlight wiring and connect it to the grille wiring. There is one harness for the Morimoto XP headlights, and it's also compatible with the OEM LED headlights. The grille also comes with a different harness if your truck has the OEM halogen reflector headlights. All right, now just go ahead and push the headlight back in. And also keep in mind to keep these two wires exposed so you can connect it to the new grille that you're about to install. All right, now go ahead and grab a friend in the new XP grille, and we're gonna go ahead and get that thing connected. Now on the side of the grille, there's gonna be these two connectors. These will line up to the two other connectors that is on the passenger headlight. It doesn't matter which one's which, they will connect up to either or. So just line those up and just push them down. Make sure you hear a slight click, that way you know that this is fully secured. And then just do the exact same thing on the second one. Now before fully installing this, I would advise you to go inside, test the features out fully just to make sure everything's working properly. Now that you have tested everything, you're gonna go ahead and just take the grille and line it back up into those tab holes that you took them out originally and just slide it back into place. And then just use this same exact hardware that you took up and off of this and reinstall it, and your new grille is installed. Guys, these things are so freaking bright, and they are only DRLs. So guys, if you want consistency, intensity, and also quality, the Morimoto XP grille for your Ford F-150 is the next upgrade for you guys. If you want to check out what all other products we have for your F-150, like headlights, taillights, floor bangers, and much, much more, just put in your year, make, and model, and we'll catch you guys over there.